sudden movement, he sprinted forward, claws scratching loudly across the tile as he ran down the empty hallway. "Nurses!" gasped one older woman, dropping her cup. Titan halted quickly outside a door with no label, barking intensely. Whatever was inside. It did not belong in this building. Titan scratched violently at the door, his barks echoing through the quiet hallway. Deep growls came from his chest as he clawed at the frame with great urgency. Officer Daniels rushed up behind him, surprised by the dog's actions. "Easy, Titan. What's happening?" A nurse caught up, out of breath and pale. "That door has been closed for years," she stammered. "It used to be an old storage room. No one enters there anymore." Daniels frowned. "Then why is it locked with a deadbolt from the outside?" The nurse paused, clearly uneasy. "It's probably just, safety measures. Old places like this, things get forgotten." But Titan was not convinced. His entire body shook with tension, his nose pressed against the door's crack, as if he smelled something no person could sense. One of the residents who had followed them whispered, "That room. It gives me bad dreams." Daniels stepped back, unclipped Titan's leash, and reached for his radio. "Dispatch, we need assistance. Something's not right here." Minutes later, backup came. 2 more officers and a maintenance worker with bolt cutters ready. The hallway had grown tense. Nurses exchanged worried looks, and residents were quietly guided away. Titan remained focused on the door, pacing, growling softly under his breath. With a sharp snap, the deadbolt broke open. Officer Daniels pushed the door open slowly. A thick cloud of dust billowed out, stinging their eyes and filling the air with a musty, metallic smell. The light switch on the wall flickered, but did not work. They switched to flashlights. Inside, the room looked like a stopped time capsule. Stacks of rusted wheelchairs, broken crutches, and cracked bedpans filled the space. But in the corner, something else. A large tarp smeared with what looked like dry stains lay folded neatly. Next to it, a small bundle wrapped in plastic, half buried. Under debris. Daniels stepped closer, heart beating fast. Titan let out a sharp, short bark. "What the hell is this place?" one officer whispered. No one had an answer. As the officers cleared debris, Titan kept circling the back wall, sniffing. Whining, scratching, his claws tapped against a section of paneling that sounded different, hollow. Daniels ran his hand along it and noticed a thin seam, almost invisible to the eye. "There is something behind this," he said. With a crowbar, they pried it open. Behind, the wall was a narrow passage leading to another room. No windows, no vents, soundproofed. The flashlight beams danced across the walls, lighting up shelves covered in dust and something worse. A row of old, faded children's toys, dolls, stuffed animals, plastic figures, lined one corner. But it was the restraints bolted to a child-sized bed frame in the center that made everyone stop breathing. A stack of worn VHS tapes lay beside it. Handwritten labels read names and dates. Some were over a decade old. Titan growled deep in his throat. Daniels turned pale. This was not a supply closet, he said grimly. This was a prison. No one spoke. The silence screamed louder than any siren. The entire nursing home was secured within the hour. Yellow police tape sealed off the East Wing as forensic teams arrived. News of the secret room spread quickly. Reporters gathered outside, but the staff remained quiet, tight-lipped, shaken, and afraid. Officer Daniels questioned a retired nurse named Helen, now in her late 70s. When she saw the photos of the room, her face went ghostly pale. Her hands trembled. "I told them," she whispered. "Years ago, I told them something was wrong." "What do you mean?" Daniels pressed gently. "That room was off limits," she muttered. "No one was allowed inside. We were told it was used for isolation back when the rules were different." "Who gave the orders?" Helen looked up, eyes full of guilt. The old administrator, Mr. Callahan. He managed everything, but he vanished right before the place was sold. Titan lay at her feet, ears low, tail still. Even he sensed the weight of her admission. Whatever happened here, it had been hidden deliberately. By the next morning, black SUVs rolled into the nursing home's parking lot. The FBI had taken over. Special Agent Rivera, a veteran with a reputation for uncovering institutional crimes, stepped through the caution tape and surveyed the scene with cold precision. "Walk me through it," she said. Daniels led her through the sealed hallway, explaining Titan's behavior, the discovery of the first room, and the hidden chamber beyond the wall. Rivera nodded, absorbing every detail without a word. Inside the hidden room, agents photographed the restraints, collected the tapes, and dusted for prints. But then one of them opened a file cabinet in the corner, packed with manila folders, patient records. Some names matched current residents, others did not. One stood out. A list of first names, all children, with dates, and a column labeled status. Most were marked with one chilling word: discharged. Rivera's jaw tightened. These are not discharge records. These are cover-ups. Outside, Titan stood at the glass door, watching. He knew more would be found. Rivera ordered immediate access to local law enforcement archives. Within hours, an analyst found disturbing patterns. Names from the nursing home files matched a string of missing persons reports filed between 2009 and 2014. Most were marked closed due to administrative errors, transfers, or family relocation. But none had follow-up documentation. One case stood out. A 6-year-old girl listed as temporarily placed at Ridgeway for emergency care after a family tragedy. Her case had gone cold, with no next of kin and no body ever found. "What 6-year-old gets placed in a nursing home?" Rivera asked, her voice tight. Daniel shook his head. "It was buried in red tape. Looks like someone knew exactly how to hide it." More files emerged. Reports of complaints, strange noises, bruises, children seen at odd hours, all dismissed. It was not incompetence. It was intentional. The home had not just failed people, it had hidden them. And now, thanks to Titan, every buried lie was crawling back into the light. Forensic teams began processing the contents of the hidden room, and it did not take long before they made a chilling discovery. Beneath the floorboards, they found remains, small, delicate bones wrapped in tattered fabric. An old bracelet still clung to one wrist, engraved with a name: Laya. Agent Rivera ordered immediate DNA testing. Within 48 hours, confirmation arrived. The remains matched a girl named Laya Thompson, reported missing 12 years ago after being placed in emergency care. Her file had been marked closed due to relocation. Rivera's face darkened. They never planned to relocate her. Her parents, still living in another state, were contacted. The call broke them. They had spent over a decade searching, believing she had been taken by strangers, not hidden in a facility meant to care for the vulnerable. Daniels sat quietly as Titan rested beside him, head on his paws. The truth had been silenced for years, but now the silence was broken. One girl's name, finally spoken aloud, had reopened the doors of justice. The arrest came at dawn. A former administrator, Harold Callahan, was tracked down at a lakeside cabin 2 states away. He had changed his name, grown a beard, and vanished after selling Ridgeway Hills. But the files, the DNA, and survivor testimonies linked him directly to the hidden room. When agents burst in, he did not resist, just sat in silence as if he had been waiting for this day. Back at Ridgeway, more residents came forward, some elderly, some barely able to speak, but all remembering shadows, whispers, and screams they were told to forget. A former nurse admitted being threatened into silence. "We were told it was therapy," she wept, "but I knew it was not." Media swarmed the site. The public demanded answers. Lawsuits were filed. Politicians called for investigations into elder care institutions nationwide. But amid the chaos, one truth stood tall. Without Titan, it might have stayed hidden forever. His instincts had pierced through years of lies, and now the world could no longer look away. A month later, the town held a quiet ceremony outside the now closed Ridgeway Hills nursing home. Families of victims, law enforcement, and townspeople gathered not just to mourn what had been hidden, but to honor what had been revealed. At the center of it all stood Titan, his coat brushed and eyes alert. A small girl, no older than 6, stepped forward, clutching a velvet box. She was Laya's niece, born after her disappearance. She opened the box and gently placed a medal around Titan's neck, etched in gold, for uncovering the truth. Titan did not bark or wag. He simply stood tall, as if understanding the weight of the moment. Officer Daniels knelt beside him, whispering, "You did not just find a room. You gave voices back to the forgotten." Agent Rivera approached quietly. "We have reopened 7 cold cases because of this dog." The crowd applauded, some wiping away tears.